Hello sewing people, and welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to show you how I make my bowl cozies or koozies, whatever you want to call them. I made mine slightly larger than what you see on most of the videos that I've seen. This is the size you mostly see, which is about 10 inch, I think. And I like to make mine a little bigger, so I make mine 11 inch. And I'll show you how I make mine. Now, we use the square bowls at our house, so this 11 inch bowl fits a lot better than the 10 inch. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, this is the 10 inch. And I mean, they do work. You can kind of, fit them in there, and they will work, as you can see, but you just have a little bit more room. Now, if you have a small bowl like these little Corral bowls that are about, I don't know, 5.5 inch in size, these bowls work perfect for that. And this size, the 10 inch. So since we mostly have these square bowls, this larger size works better for us. So anyway, I just thought I'd share my technique with you. Since there's so many other demos out there, you can see how I make mine. Now I like to cut out two 11 inch squares, and I like to use two different patterns. That's up to you. But I like to cut out two at a time of one color and then two of another color. And then what I do, well, as I cut them out, I do happen to have an 11 inch ruler. So what I do is either use my rotary cutter, which has now gotten dull, so I'm going to have to get my husband to change the blade. Or I just lay it down and draw around it and then cut it out with my scissors, which is what I ended up doing this time because my blade's gotten dull. So then what I do is take my straight ruler and line it up from corner to corner. And I'm going to draw a line from each corner, and this pen is not wanting to work. I'm not a big fan of these pens. Half the time they don't work. Alright, so I have to get a colored pencil. This is a colored chalk pencil. I'm going to draw a line that way, and another one this way. And I'm going to sew across that, and I'm also going to sew this way and this way. I don't usually draw a line there, but if you want to, you can, and if you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. That extra seam. Okay, so then I have my squares cut a good 1/2 inch, well, 1 inch, but a 1/2 inch all the way around, shorter than this. And what I normally do is I take one of these tapes like this, and squish it down. And it looks like over on this side it's not really enough. It's a little bit long, so I'm going to just go ahead and cut some of that off. Try to cut down on some of the bulk. So I like it to be a good 1/2 inch around, you know, the corners, so it won't be so bulky with that. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do on all 4 corners. I'm going to do like that. With all 4 pieces. I'm going to do that. And then, let's stick a pin. Got 4 pins. And they're like that. Okay, now at the sewing machine. And I notice I do have my walking foot on. And I do highly recommend a walking foot if you have it. And also I usually increase my stitch length a little bit. I'm putting mine about 320. Well, my bobbin's out, so I gotta change my bobbin. Okay, now after I have all 4 corners, well, the X rather, X'd out, then I'm going to go ahead and stitch down through the middle. And I'll remove my pins when I get to this point. Okay, I think I mentioned that I lengthened my stitch length to about 320, 3.5. Depending on the thickness. Now I'm using just 1 layer for each piece. 1 layer of cotton batting. You don't want to use a polyester batting. Since this is going to be going in the microwave, it will melt. So I used 100% cotton batting. Okay, now I've sewn all my X's across on both pieces. Now what I'm going to do, so I'm going to fold one piece like this, and on this corner right here I'm going to come over about 1.5 inches down this way to about 2.5 inches. And if you want to draw that out, you can. If you want to just mark it, I just kind of eyeball it because these things are pretty forgiving. Come on down like that on that corner. See what I did? And then you're going to fold your other half over. Do the same thing over here. Cut it. Okay, then you're going to fold your fabric in half the other way. And you're going to line up everything. Just go around. As you go around, just line up. I line these up. Line this up. And then I take this one right here, line that one up, and go to the other side. Oops. And then you're going to have all 4 corners sewn up like that. And you have your little bowl, you know, started for right there. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut each corner like that. Cut off that excess about approximately 1/8 to a 1/2 inch. Just cut off all 4 corners like that. Okay, so then I have this piece right here. Then I'm going to take my other piece and I'm going to do the same thing. Now if it's easier for you, you can make a pattern like I've done for myself. This is one for the 10-inch cozy. And so what I did is I drew a 10-inch square. Then I, as you can see right here, I cut out my corners to go like this. This is the 11-inch cozy, but you get the general idea. And if you wanted to do that, then you could go ahead and draw your lines where you're gonna come in for your seams and so forth. Then you can also make one a little bit smaller, which I've done. I always fold mine in half, except for when I'm doing the batting, I don't. So I have one cut out for my batting also. Like I said, this is the one I did for the 10-inch. And the ones we're doing right now are the 11-inch. Okay, I'll show you what I do next. Now it is a good idea to backstitch at the beginning and the end of your cozy so that it doesn't come apart or start to ravel. Anytime you don't want your threads to come out, it's always a good idea to backstitch. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn my other side out, and I'm going to face the right sides together like this. Then I'm going to line up. Oh, I forgot to cut these. Let me cut these. Okay, so now I'm going to put my right sides together, and I'm going to line up these all my corners. Usually what I do first is line up my seams, get those together, and I put one going one way and one the other. They just kind of lay better that way. Then I clip it right there. Then I go to the next pleat and do the same thing. Next one. can see that I didn't back stitch, and you can see where that's already starting to come out. So like I said, it's always a good idea to, I just kind of forgot doing the video, I just kind of forgot about doing that. But you are going to be going back over those seams again, so that'll help keep it in place. Okay, after I have all 4 sides, then seams rather, then I'm going to do my corners. And usually what I do is I pin my corners. For some reason, that's the way I do it. You can clip it if you prefer, whatever you want to do, but this video I'm showing you how I do. So of course you can do whatever you want. Okay, now I am going to leave an opening down here, so I'm going to have to remember when I get back to this last pin that I'm going to leave an opening here to here. Okay, so I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to start right in that seam. Hopefully it's close enough you can see, but I'm going to start sewing right in the seam, and then I'm going to turn my stitch length back to normal stitching, which is about 2.5 is where I sew most things, depends on what it is. I'm going to back stitch. And when I get to each seam, that's where I'm going to leave my needle down in the project. Go around again. Same thing again, leave my needle down at the corner. Go to the next one. The next seam, I'm going to stop and just slightly tilt a little bit after I hit that seam. Going up to the next corner, stop, and pivot. To the seam, stop and pivot just a little bit. Go to the next corner, stop, and I'm going to stop right there because that's the last seam that I did. Okay, I'm going to back stitch there, or I can, if you have one of those knotted stitches, you can do that. Okay, then after I do that, I'm going to go around and I'm going to cut every corner. Just clip a little bit, just enough to cut down on the bulk, and you don't want to get too close to your seam or you're going to have it popping out. Okay, and then I'm going to take just a little tiny notch right in between the seams, each pleat rather, where there's a little pleat. Just cut just a tiny little notch on each side there. Right beside each pleat, just a little bit to help it turn good. Okay, now once I have all that done, then I'm going to get everything ready to turn inside out. Uh-oh. Oh, that's supposed to be that way. Scared me. I thought I missed a whole seam. use some type of turner, pointer to kind of just gently pop my corners out. You may can do this with your fingers. I like to just use the pointer and get each corner out just a little bit. Just be careful not to pop it all the way out. And get it in place. Now, once I do this, of course, I'm going to tuck this in right here. That's going to be tucked in. And then I'm going to go over to the iron. Okay, now I'm at the iron. And this is the part right here that's folded in. And I do like to clip that. I like to take a few clips right there. Even after I've ironed it, it's kind of like holding it in place until I get back to it. I'm going to keep going around. And iron and try to line up those seams. Okay, after I've got it ironed, then I'm going to bring it back over here to the machine. And I'm going to put my sewing stitch length back till about 3 or 350. Start and reverse. Now again, every time we get to a seam or where a pleat is, we're going to pivot a little bit with the needle down. Keep the needle down when you pivot. And you can get pretty close to the edge there. However close you want it to be. I think it looks better when it's a little bit closer to the edge. Almost got a little bit too close. And now we're coming right back to the end seam where it's closed. Just do want to make sure I got that good. And then I'm going to knot it. And that's it. So you have your bowl cozy. There you go. Well, I don't know where my bowl is. So there's your bowl cozy. Okay, so there you have it. There's your bowl cozy. And you can do turn it whichever way you want, whichever side. And that's your 11-inch bowl cozies. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this video and hope it helped you out. And you'll have fun making you some bolt cozies. Happy sewing. Bye now.
Here's your beer. I don't want to kill nobody. Golly, cool. It sure is good to see you. What sheriff had to hire you for a day?